I think I said in my email, I always knew I had problems. Like whenever I got, especially in high school, I wasn't very studious. I didn't take my studies very seriously.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until college when I got serious that I started to realize I was having a real problem with like reading emails correctly and going to the right place at the right time in these things.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I just suck at that. Like I didn't think much of it. And then I was practicing for the MCAT and I realized there is no way I can take the exam in the normal amount of time that they give.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, like what is going on? So I got a neuropsych evaluation and apparently I have a pretty significant processing speed issue and working memory issue that also interferes with things like, reading through applications correctly, reading emails right. So, so now that I'm aware.
Yeah, right.
So
now
thank you.
Get help in Excel. Now you can get help in Excel.
Yeah. Yes. So.
Well, I have to say, I've always been very impressed by your ambition and your hard workedness. So I'm glad you called me for help. All right, let's start here. How do I send my transcript? So I don't know about Union. I don't know what they do, but at Plattsburgh State, you call the registrar's office and you tell them where to send them, and they send a secure link to that person, and they get them that way. So, Union, I'm not sure. Did you have some other colleges too? Bryant and Stratton. So probably similar procedure. I just call the registrar's office and see what they say.
Okay, I'm gonna type some of this also while you're speaking. Okay, call reg. So I think there was an option on AMCAS that was like print or download like transcript request form. And every time I click that, nothing happens. It seems to be a faulty link, or maybe it's my Wi-Fi kind of sucks. So maybe that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. So I called them. I don't know where to tell them to send it to, I think is the bigger thing.
So who'd you call to send? Like Union College or who, or AMCAS?
I haven't called anybody. I just, I don't know who to tell, like Plattsburgh and Union to send them to. Like, I don't know how to tell them to send it to AMCAS is what it.
Right. I think you're going to have to deal with AMCAS on that. And just to warn you, I had trouble logging in and they took like a month to get back to me, a month and a half. So AMCAS, I think, is really flooded with stuff right now. It's the high season and there's all this craziness going on. So, but they're the people you're going to have to get to. Try the website again, see if that link will work. But if not, you'll have to call them. And I think when I was on the site, it seemed like there wasn't a number to call. It was just fill out this email form and we'll get back to you. And it took weeks. So. Oh,
geez. Yeah. All right. Hopefully I can handle this relatively quickly.
Yeah. Right. Did you take the MCAT yet?
I did not because I was actually planning on taking it like 2 months ago. And that's when I realized I was having this issue with the processing. I originally actually had extended time on exams and stuff at Plattsburgh and Union just because I knew I was struggling with time and I didn't know why. So they were just really nice and kind of, I had a misdiagnosis of Lyme disease and they're like, we'll take that. It works. We'll give you extended time. So last thing I wanted to do was take like, now it's reduced, but at the time, like a 7.5 hour exam over 2 days, like that's so much. I didn't want to do that. So I was like, no, I don't want extended time, like too much. And when I realized I absolutely could not take the test in the amount of time, I was like, all right. So it took an entire month to get through the process of getting a neuropsych evaluation and then getting that sent. And then it took another month to have the MCAT accommodations team review the application and send it back with an approval, which I actually just got back like 2 weeks ago. And then because I'm applying with accommodations, I select my preferred date and then I send it to a person and then they get back to me and say either, yes, we can give you your accommodations for the date you want, or we have to move it to, or we can't, we have to move it to a more acceptable date. And so they told me they couldn't get me a date until August 7th. So that's when I'll be taking it. It's been months unfortunately, I'm really nervous. I'm running out of time, but hopefully with COVID, they might be a little more lenient with later applications. I don't know. That was actually another question I had for you, which is kind of a nice segue. I don't know if I added in the email. My dream school, which I'm actually scoring in the correct range for on my MCAT, is on Kaplan, assuming I can reproduce the scores I've been getting, is David Geffen at UCLA. Yeah, or just any California school, but that's more like my dream school because they have a great press. They have a lot of connections with plastic surgery residency type stuff, which is what I theoretically want. Who knows when I get there? But, they said on the website, when there's like on their website COVID information, they said to don't wait for your MCAT scores, just send your application ASAP and then get your secondaries in. And when we get your MCAT score, we get it then. So basically said, don't wait for MCAT scores. My question for you, I guess, sorry, there's a lot. I know that there's a lot of explaining to do on my end because there's a lot going on. Theoretically, obviously, I would just do that. I'd hit submit, like, here you go, assuming I have my application all done and ready to go. The problem is I'm still studying for the MCAT during this time. I'm taking this internship, which although it is, I just started it, but it seems like it'll be pretty time consuming as well. Also, I'm afraid that I don't know which schools or policies about their secondaries are. So if I get a response from a school and they're like, you have 2 weeks to send in your secondary, I don't want to be, and then I get multiple schools like that or whatever it is. I don't want to be like, oh, I've got internship and studying and this. And I want to put my best foot forward. So I wanted to know your opinion. It seems like a bad idea. Is it safer to like maybe wait until I can put my best foot forward, or should I or is it more dangerous to wait a few weeks, in your opinion?
Like normally I would say it's more dangerous to wait, but this year everything's crazy. A lot of deadlines have been pushed back and everything. And like this person from California said, just do it, just get it in. So I would say go ahead and get it in this year. Okay. Yeah, that'd be my opinion.
Just submit it as soon as I can.
And think about, if suddenly your secondaries are coming in, just start triaging, what is the least important thing in my life right now, which would probably be the internship, unfortunately. Yeah. But, just do your best at time management or whatever. But I would say forge ahead,
Okay. The only other concern with it was, and I don't know how much this weighs into it, but I have been relatively inactive in terms of my activities and whatnot for the past almost a year at this point, because I've had increasingly struggles with my health, and I've been mostly going to doctors, and that's and studying for the MCAT. So the last year has been a conglomerate of that, and so I haven't done a lot in the last year. Also, union sucks, and they're the worst. I wish I had never transferred, but they kind of screwed me over with one of my classes, and I had to take literally one course in anything just to graduate. And I decided to take neurobio in the winter term because they're trimester. So it was kind of odd because I should have graduated in end of 2019 spring, and I was still taking one class in the middle of that year, which kind of screwed up everything also. So I've been other than taking, so I did take that class. It wasn't nothing, but all I did was take that class, go to doctor's appointments, and study for the MCAT. And now I'm doing this internship. So I've been told I can't add an internship to my experiences section, having not completed it.
Okay.
So I didn't want to look like I haven't done anything in a year, and I don't know how important that is.
Yeah, you might want to mention your health concerns in your personal statement if it works into the overall story, but I wouldn't worry about it that much. Like 1 year where you're a little less active, they may ask you about it and then you could tell them, but I wouldn't worry that much about it. Yeah. Okay. I don't think it's that big a deal.
You don't think this internship would be make or break? Oh, has she not done anything?
No, I don't think so. When is that internship going to be done?
It's so short. It's just started, but it's going to be done by the end of, let's see, I can give you an exact date. It's before the end of July, though. I think it's like the 28th or 29th of July.
Okay. And then you take your MCAT right after that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 weeks. So it's just starting this week, the internship?
Yeah. Plus, I could get when my person who's what do I call my mentor? I don't know, the person who's heading the research, PI. I don't know if that's a more professional term. But they even said, you know, like a lot of the reasons they even admitted very straightforwardly, like a lot of students are looking for letters of recommendation from us through this program, and we are totally willing to give that, whatever you need, just let us know at the end. So I was thinking, I also, a lot of my, I didn't have the best time at Union, and I didn't make a lot of good connections with professors at Union. My best letters of recommendation, I'm assuming, are coming from Plattsburgh, and I've been told that older letters, you know, they like to see at least some newer letters.
Yeah, right.
So that was also another thing, but I don't, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I do have my letters. You know, I have one from my advisor at Union, and I actually have 3 tech. I think I have one from my advisor. I actually sent him an email today to make sure that because he wrote me one for the internships, make sure he also wrote me one for med school.
Right.
I have one with my neurobio professor, who was amazing, my favorite professor at Union, and one for my drawing instructor, who I also did like a lot.
Well, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
That's 3. That's a lot. And then you've got some from Plattsburgh. Do you have any professional ones too, like from places you've interned or anything, or no?
I had.
Not necessary, but it'd be nice.
Yeah, I did have one from CVPH, Molly Ryan. She's not there anymore, but she was so great, and she actually. I had her write me a letter for one of the internships, was very much based on your community service stuff. It was really cool internship at Weill Cornell, and they put you up for like however many weeks. And I was totally going to get it because I got an interview and stuff, but then it got canceled because of COVID. But she wrote me a kick-ass letter. She even sent it. I told her, like, you're supposed to like not see it, you know, and have them send it. But she sent it straight to me. I don't think she understood. And it was like a kick-ass letter. So I was like, oh, like, I'd love to use this for med school.
I wouldn't stress about it. If you've got all that, you're going to be okay on letters. Don't worry. Another thing too is think about this in terms of a process. You know, if you don't get in this application, you'll have this internship and all this for next year, you know? So, you know, it takes a while to get in for a lot of people, most people really. So don't stress too much.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Saying it all out loud with you is helping me realize I do have some stuff going. Yeah, I was just worried because the pre-health advisor at Union, who I'm not sure how much I trust her word, if I'm being completely honest, I'm, you know, nothing against her personally. She said that I should not be using, like, for instance, the letter from Molly Ryan, because if given, you know, if say a school is only asking for 3 max letters of recommendation, I should be prioritizing the earlier letters, or I mean, the most recent letters.
Right.
So
I think it's good to have a professional one too, though. I would still throw that one in. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think most schools say 3 max. And another thing too, are you getting a committee letter?
No, and that was my bad. That was completely on me, though. They had a committee. They have a committee at Union, and I, due to, again, health issues, studying for the MCAT, and then later COVID, which happened, we got kicked out of school in, like, right before our final in the winter term. And I missed the deadline. They had like actually a pretty early deadline I was unaware of, which again is on me. Sorry, one sec. Someone's trying to call me. Decline. Sorry about that. What is happening? I'm so sorry. I'm hearing like a video go off somewhere in many of my tabs. There we go.
I don't hear it, so.
Okay, good. Oh, what was I saying? I'm sorry.
We're talking about letters of recommendation.
And that's right, committee letter.
Oh, committee letter.
Yes.
Yeah,
So completely my fault again. I should have been more on top of the deadline. And frankly,
yeah.
I was given the worst advice I'd ever heard by the pre-health department there. She was like, and I'm not trying to say negative things, but I went to them to just show face and be like, because I was so active at the Plattsburgh pre-health,
Right,
you
right.
know, it was my favorite thing on campus. So I immediately showed up there, like boasting about their off. They have a whole, department. I was like, hello, like I'm new. I am very interested, very enthusiastic about this whole thing. And I sat down with her. I was like, hi, I'm new, just showing face. If you have any recommendations, as I've never met with her, if you have any unique things to add for my consideration. And she was like, well, how do you think you're going to do on the MCAT? And I was like, I really don't know, because I didn't do very well in high school. I didn't try very hard on my SATs. So I've never been in a situation where I worked really hard and tried to take a standardized test. I don't know. And she was like, oh, you should retake your SATs and ACTs. And I was like, just to see how you do on standardized tests. And I was like, oh, I guess I can see where that would be an idea, but I don't think that's a good idea for me. You have to pay for it. You have to sign up. You have to study. I don't have time for that. And she was very adamant that that's a really good idea I should do.
So, I don't know about that. I don't know.
So I'm sure she has plenty of other things. I'm sure they're very knowledgeable. They mostly work with LIM students who are guaranteed into med school that come through Union.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think she's more knowledgeable about that track than maybe.
Yeah. Right.
So I wasn't very involved. And they sent me a lot of spam emails. So I just missed one of the hundreds of emails they sent that said when the date was. I'm so embarrassed, because usually I'm so on top of these things. But
Yes.
I missed the date. And that's why I do not have a committee letter, but I did ask my advisor is on the pre-health committee, of course. So he couldn't write me a letter unless if I was doing committee review, but because I'm not, I think he's writing me one. But if I do not get in this cycle due to so many reasons, applying late, they said I can come back anytime for a committee letter. So
yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Next time. I guess the reason I brought that up was, if some school says only 3, what we do is we write our committee letter and we put all the letters you gave us attached to that letter. So that's one letter, but it's really 6 or 7 if you've got a lot of other recommendations. I don't know if you does that, but you could ask them about that.
Yeah, I can ask them. I think because I asked them if there was any exception that could be made with the committee letter, because I wasn't even applying that late. It was only a week or 2 late, but they were very hard on, no, you missed the deadline, which I understand.
Right.
So, I guess I couldn't really ask that of Plattsburgh at this point. It's been so long, and I don't know if you guys had a deadline too.
How long were you at Plattsburgh? 2 years?
2 years.
We could still do it, but I don't think it would. I would be happy to do it. I just don't know if it would be the greatest letter since you didn't graduate from here. But we could do it. It wouldn't be a problem.
Okay. That might be something I'd be interested. Can I ask who's on the committee?
Do you know Cecilia Gregoire? She was anatomy and physiology.
I heard her name. I never had a class with her.
Okay. And another person is an alum of Plattsburgh State. She was one of my students at one point. She's a physician assistant at CVPH. So you probably would know her, but she's really nice too. I like her a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. It might be something worth looking into for me, because I don't have a committee letter from Union. Also, I don't know how much more a letter would weigh from Union than Plattsburgh, because unfortunately, I hate that this is how it went down, but I really didn't make very close connections with any of my professors. And I only had class with my advisor, who is the only person I know that's currently on the committee anyways. So they don't really know me very well there either.
Right. Okay. Well, it's up to you. Yeah.
Okay. I'll write that down as an option.
Okay. Let me look through your questions here and make sure we handle these. Oh, so number 2, what type of course should my clinical foundations and phlebotomy classes at these be listed as? I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Yeah. I've never filled out the AMCAS application, so I don't know how it goes. Maybe I should try that sometime. Just, fake an account for the hell of it. Credit hours, internship and research course classification, union research fellowship classification. Okay, so number 3 says credit hours, internship and research course classification. Union Summer Research Fellow class. So by classification, you mean where would it go on your application?
Yes, I actually figured that one. I wanted to make sure I understood credit hours. That's like the 4, the 4 for a lab class, 3 credit hours for a regular class. That's what we're talking about. Okay, I just want to make sure. At Union, it's a little different, but that's fine. It says on my transcript. For the, I think so for the research. Yeah, so when I did research, I got a credit for that. So that would go under a course with 1 credit.
Okay, yeah.
That's how it would be classified.
That would be on your transcript probably too, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then I guess, I don't know if you know the exact answer to this one, but I took a lot of drawing classes. Do you know if that's lab? It was kind of treated like a lab and lecture, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I don't have an answer for that one. Yeah, I guess it's like a studio. They call it like a studio usually. Yeah, I don't know how it would go in the AMCAS though. Yeah, like I said, I'm not as familiar with filling out that AMCAS application, so I don't really know. And you asked if you can include your drawings. I would say if you can find a place to include it, you should, because I think it looks good. It looks like, makes you a more interesting person. So I think that would be
good. For.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't know of anywhere on the application that you could, off the top of your head, think of?
Yeah, see, I haven't gone through the MCAS, so I don't know where it would fit in there. Yeah, I don't know if there's a place where you can upload pictures. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, don't have an answer.
So, okay, if you don't know, someone on Reddit said that you can include a link somewhere. Like you can add a link to your application and then make like a little website that's very simple and just has your pictures. So they can click. So if there's not a specific area that I'm not aware of, I can try that.
Yeah, like if there's probably a section about activities other than your school activities, you can put your little link in there. Yeah. Like extracurricular activities, something like that. That would be a good place to put it.
Okay, good to know. I will look into that.
So what is asked for when they call my references and experiences? Mainly what they're trying to find out is, that you're telling the truth in your application and that you're the person you're representing yourself as. So they're just going to talk to the person and make sure that everything is above board, That's mainly what that's for.
Okay, because the reason I asked that question is, unfortunately, with Dr. Kless at Plattsburgh, I did research with her, and I wasn't currently aware that my brain was weird. So I missed 1 or 2 of her emails, and I missed in meetings that I should have been to. And I gave a very horrible representation of myself to her, and that later translated into other areas of the whole thing. So I'm just was wondering if they're going to ask, like, how is she as a person? I mean, she's not one of my letter of recommendations. So if all they're going to ask is, was she here and did she do this? I'm hoping that all that will be said is, yes, she was, and not, and I had a horrible idea of her as a student.
Well, I would say, don't worry about it because there's nothing you can do about it. That's been my philosophy for years. It's like, if I can't control it, I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to let it be, Focus on what you can control and what you can make good.
All right. I mean, what am I going to do anyways? But I was just, I was just wondering, you don't know if they ask those kind of questions when they call?
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I could even email maybe Dr. Kless and be like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but I could even email and be like, I'm sorry if we had any differences before. I just want to let you know you may be contacted about my involvement in the lab. Well, just to give you a heads up.
And ask her, if you don't think you can give me a good recommendation, then I'll take that off my application,
Yeah.
You can be honest with her about that, and then she'll tell you the truth.
Okay.
Okay, 6, anywhere to mention my experiences as a patient. Usually people put that in their personal statement if it's important to your progress into going into medical school. If you can relate that in, tie it in there, then that would be the place you want to do that. That's where most people do it.
Yeah. Okay. And the reason, again, I asked that question is because actually my application is very centered around being a patient, because I feel like I have the most to say, that is a
Yeah.
primary drive for why I want to go into medicine.
Right.
That's where I have most of my experience. It's just, it was kind of I actually was hoping maybe if you'd be willing if I could send you my
Personal statement?
Personal statement
Yeah, sure.
and have you look over it.
Absolutely.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I actually struggled. I went back and forth attempting to write a personal statement over many years because it's been in my head, of course, that this is
Yep,
something I
yep,
will do eventually.
yep.
And it often teetered around having almost a sob story feel, even though that's not what I was going for,
Yeah,
by
yeah, yeah,
listing some of the complications and why it inhibited me from doing certain things.
yeah.
Which is not at all what I was going for. So
No.
the way it ended up and the way it's turning out now, it's just kind of mostly mentioned for the purpose of stating myself as a diverse student. So I will add diversity to your incoming class, because I have this unique perspective as a patient, and that's kind of where I'm coming from in my personal statement. I did really want to list somewhere though, and it doesn't seem to be working in my personal statement, just to say, for instance, one of the reasons I did a lot less extracurriculars and whatnot in Union was because, for instance, my first year at Union, prior to matriculating, I got an IUD placed that perforated my uterus in 2 sides. And oh yeah, it was
horrible.
Lovely. And so I didn't know that that's what had happened. I went for an ultrasound reading. I went to like 3 gynecologists and they all told me I was fine. And so it was very painful and hard to move and do anything for like a year.
Yeah.
So I really didn't do much that year, literally because I couldn't move around campus. And then I got it removed the following summer when I went to see an endometriosis specialist who identified that I actually had stage 3 endometriosis as well, and that my ID had in fact perforated my uterus. So we did the whole surgery and everything was good, but I did heal very slowly from that surgery. And so again, I was a little bit not feeling great and not able to do much. So it's a lot, I feel like, and not very pertained to my personal statement. So
you know what I would say? I would say, in terms of your personal statement, start out with, a little bit about your interest in going into medicine, and then boom, you had all this personal experience in it. How did you grow through that experience? What did you learn about medicine? And how did it make you more interested in becoming a doctor? And you could clash off the good doctors versus the bad doctors. Don't say it that way, but say, this is what I learned from these doctors and how I will be a good doctor, having known that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. And one other, again, with the health issues, I'd had a progressive health issue that I'd noticed being a problem.
Wait, back up 1 second. Something I thought about earlier.
Yeah.
Be careful about using the word diversity, okay? Because it means something specific. And when they see a white person saying, I'm a diverse person, they may ding you for that. So be careful with that word. It's a very loaded term. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the personal statement, I actually did go to I recognize that, and I went into defining why diversity is important, bringing in different viewpoints from all walks of life, and I define diversity as different viewpoints about how life is, and I fit into diversity that way. But I hear what you're saying, and I think it's definitely good to stay cautious. When I send you my personal statement, I will make sure to include, like, hey, does this ring badly to you?
Yeah. Okay, I'll look at it. So I interrupted you. After we talked about your personal statement, you had an idea that you wanted to talk about.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so the other reason it was a little difficult to put that exact specific experience, which I wanted to put somewhere just to explain why I did so much at Plattsburgh, and then suddenly when I transferred, I had like very little extracurriculars.
Right.
I think sorry, let me start from the beginning. I started having health issues aside from the other stuff when I was about 10, and it's been getting, relatively worse-ish, or just more, I'm getting older and realizing it needs more attention.
Right.
And it's now, we think, my latest doctor is thinking it's actually a mitochondrial myopathy. So some kind of genetic issue. So that's I'm kind of, so my health issues aren't limited to that experience. It's kind of been a progression of things my whole life, which is also would make sense why I have slow processing speed. Things like that can be affected by mitochondrial issues. And I'm going in to get a test for that, hopefully by the end of the month. So either way, I can just say suspected on my thing.
Right.
But that was kind of more the focus. So I was thinking in terms of the specifics of like those last 2 years of undergrad.
Yeah.
Would it sound weird to you? Because the way the MCAS is you only have a section to put your grades, and then you have a section to put your experiences. And everything under the sun can be in experiences, including awards, recognition, research, volunteer work, everything. So
Drawing.
I have, drawings, I can add that. Because it's experiences is so broad, would it seem odd to you if I put one of my experiences, put a note and say my experience of being sick these last 2 years?
Yeah.
Would that seem odd to you?
I would say if you don't want to put it in your personal story, then I would mention it there somehow. Just a paragraph, nothing really big, but just like a paragraph there. Yeah.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. I think I'd rather your personal statement though, but again, it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I was just nervous because you only have so much space in your personal statement. And I again didn't want to pander, and I didn't want to make it sound like a sob story that I'm not going for. It comes off that way when you're just describing how things have limited you. And then you have to dig yourself out of this hole and be like, I learned so much, which is true, but it's hard to show and not tell and write well when you're doing that and you're digging holes. So, but I will send you, if that's okay, I can also send you a quick points of each of my events or experiences. And you can see it there as well. And maybe if that's okay, you can give me your thoughts about the placement. And
Absolutely.
Maybe say this would look better in your personal statement.
Right. Just put it as a separate paragraph in your personal statement. Yeah.
Okay. Let me write that down. Okay. Did I have more questions on my email? Not sure what else I asked. We went through a lot. Make sure. Did we get through all of my questions? I don't know.
Yeah. The ones that you sent me, we got through them all.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Okay. In that case, so just to review, if I can, I really should include Molly Ryan's letter. I should apply right away and not necessarily worry about the overload of, do you usually, is it that common to see deadlines for secondaries being as small as a week or two? Is that common?
I don't think so. I think they give you at least a month.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So apply sooner rather than later. Especially, obviously the website's telling me to do that. So I feel like.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can reproduce these MCAT scores. I should be good if I can, because I'm doing really well.
Good. That's key. That's the most important thing. Everything else is fluff, If you do well in the MedCat, then they look at all that other stuff. If you don't do well in the MedCat, they don't even look. So.
Yeah, they're like, you're not going to do well in med school. So you don't do well. Okay, and then also a committee letter from Plattsburgh. So if I decide to pursue that in any way, should I email you?
Email me. I'll send you a link that tells you what I need, and then just have everything emailed to me. We'll keep it electronic. And usually once everything is together, it takes me about 2 weeks to get it done, so we can get it done, pretty quickly.
Okay. And do you require letters? Were you going to look at other letters from?
Yeah, if you could have them sent directly to me as well. Usually we want 3 letters from other people.
Okay. All right. So And you'll be sending me a link anyways to describe what you need. So
right.
Others. Okay. I can ask Professor Weiss at Union about the art class classification. She might.
Can you hang on for 1 second? My dog needs me. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh.
Can't stand to be without me. Can you, buddy?
Oh, so cute. Is he older?
He's 9, 115 pounds, the little puppy.
It's nice. I miss my dog. We just have cats now.
Not the same experience.
No, it was funny. I was on my Zoom meeting with the internship people that I'm taking an internship with. My cat, there's like so many of us that hopefully they didn't notice, but like my cat immediately like jumped right here. I was like looking at the camera and I was like, oof. Yeah. Okay. I think I have everything written down.
Okay.
I feel more knowledgeable.
Okay. And I'll post this on YouTube. Just let me know when you want me to take it down and I'll take it down. Okay.
Okay. Sounds great. Yeah. So thank you very much for meeting with me and helping me out.
No problem. How do I stop? Okay.